so let's get serious. So, just touching on this whole idea of diet overwhelm, I thought it would be helpful to go over basically a lot of the popular diets that we're seeing right now and break down how, which one is going to work best for you. Because I think that this also contributes a lot to diet overwhelm, which is basically just going to leave you stuck and spinning your wheels. So, we're going to dive right in today. And the very first one that I'm going to start off with is my favorite, keto. Now, obviously, keto has been getting a lot of play lately, and basically, it's been getting a lot of play because, people tend to see fast results on this diet. But ultimately, I hate to break it to you, a good chunk of those fast results that you see in the beginning of keto is basically water weight. So it's not actually real weight that's coming off, which is means that you're not necessarily losing the weight that you actually want to lose, which is body fat. And so I think that the thing is, too, the important thing that I want to stress when it comes to keto is that it's not necessarily the healthiest diet for women. And, we talked a lot about this a couple weeks ago when Alyssa Lebrecq was on. She's a gut expert. And she was even saying that in her experience of working with people who have gut issues, she has worked with countless clients who have come off keto that have actually had to have their gallbladders removed because it is that damaging to your gut microbiome. And so I think the thing is that, when it comes to women, especially who are, haven't quite hit the perimenopausal stage, so, aren't in menopause yet, keto necessarily isn't going to work for you. And the reason being is because our bodies have, we go through 4 different cycles, like in 1 month, meaning that at different times of the month, our bodies are going to need different kinds of nutrients. And so a lot of times it's just, our bodies themselves need the carbohydrates. And if you're doing keto, again, you're not supporting those fat loss hormones that you really need to. So I would say that, which is why a lot of the times when studies are done on diets, and I've talked about this before, they're done on men and menopausal women. And the reason being is because for women, men's hormones are stabilized every single day. They're the exact same time throughout the month. Menopausal women are basically the same as well. And so that's why a lot of these diets are done on them because they're easy to control. But that being said, if you're, just a regular woman who continues to get her period and you go through, you have those 4 stages of your cycle a month, this isn't necessarily going to work for you. I would say at most keto might be good during the week of your actual cycle, your bleed. And just because it's supporting, and I won't get into the science of it, but it is, it may support those hormones better. So you may just physically feel better. But I think ultimately, because it is so damaging to your system, I would say if you are going to, engage in keto, which is something, I'm not going to necessarily say that it's bad, but I would say you really, really need to consult with a practitioner who knows how to do it in a healthy way that's going to allow your body and your gut microbiome to continue to thrive and feel good. Because from a longer standpoint in terms of time frames, this isn't a diet that you want to be on for an extended period of time. And so I really think that it's important that you consult with somebody if this is the avenue that you want to go, because it can be extremely damaging to your gut and your overall health. Studies have actually shown in their preliminary that it can also trigger a lot of thyroid, hypothyroid incidences in women, meaning that, it can basically, your thyroid is what helps control your metabolism and speeds it up and everything. Hypo means that it's actually going to slow your metabolism down. Just another thing that you want to consider. So the next thing that I'm going to dive into is paleo. Now this one, Paleo and Whole30, they kind of had their spotlight a couple of years ago. When they first came out, I know that everybody was on it. A lot of people tend to jump on them, every now and then, just because, again, a lot of people see faster results with paleo in the beginning. Now, again, the reason being is because with paleo, you're cutting out, grains and dairy and sugar and all of these inflammatory foods. So you are initially going to get those results that you want in terms of seeing the scale go down. But unfortunately, it's water weight that you're dropping. It's not actual real weight that you're dropping. So it's not necessarily, like I said before, what you want to see. And I find that, the challenges with paleo too is that because it's so restrictive, you're not necessarily going to be able to maintain it like keto. It's one of those things where, unless you're willing to give up, dairy and grains and sugar for the rest of your life, this isn't going to be a diet that's worthwhile for you. So, and I've said this time and time again before, if you're not willing to stick to it, don't even start it in the first place. It just literally doesn't make sense, because the moment you come off of it, the weight's coming back on. So the next one that I wanted to dive into, which is another favorite, I've actually been talking about this one a lot lately, is Weight Watchers. And, I think obviously Oprah has sort of revitalized the Weight Watchers, waving the flag now again. And so a lot of women are, jumping on it with the promise that this is a diet that's going to be extremely flexible, meaning that you can eat whatever you want, which is going to allow you to be able to maintain it for the long haul. This, friends, is just excellent marketing at its finest. The reason being is that, you know, Weight Watchers actually doesn't allow you to maintain your diet long term because you don't have the knowledge that you need to be able to maintain your diet long term, because they're not giving it to you. The frustration that a lot of women experience with Weight Watchers is you're just given a set amount of points every single day, and you don't know why these points are valuable. You don't know why you're eating what you're eating. You don't know why things are free, why they're so, certain points are higher than others. It was funny. I talked to a woman the other day, and she told me that peanut butter was 7 points. And I was blown away, because she was like, it's almost like half my daily caloric value, which kills me because I have like 2 to 3 scoops of peanut butter every single day. So I can imagine from a Weight Watchers standpoint, I would be failing, except for the fact that I'm not. And so I think that that's the thing. Part of the reason why they tote it as being this really flexible thing is because, they give you the ability to have the cake and have all the things that you want, except you're handcuffed to this platform forever, because once you get off of it, you really have no idea how to maintain your diet on your own. And so I think that that's the challenge. The other thing that I hear a lot that comes up when, I'm talking to women about Weight Watchers is that they still have low energy and they still have those afternoon blood sugar crashes. The reason being is that there's no strategy in terms of actually how you're able to support your hormones with food, meaning that you can eat however, say if you, I don't even really know the system that well, but say if you had like, an allotted caloric or an allotted point value of like 30 points a day, you could eat 30 points worth of broccoli, but that's not going to make you feel, you know what I mean? You're still going to be crashing in the afternoon. You could eat 30 points of chicken, but again, same thing. You really don't have the knowledge and the basis to sort of understand how to support your body to have more energy, balance your hormones, and avoid those blood sugar crashes, which inevitably are going to cause you to hold on to weight even more, because again, you're just going to end up in the pantry because you're going to have that I'm starving, that hangry moment, and then all of a sudden it's all bets are off. So again, not necessarily sustainable. Now, another thing sort of in line with Weight Watchers is calorie counting. Now, this is really interesting from the standpoint that, a lot of women that I hear, like Weight Watchers, count calories, but they have no idea exactly, like I said before, why they're eating certain foods. Like, it's the same sort of in the same sort of vein that you can eat, 1,200 calories of broccoli every single day, but you're still not giving your body what it needs to be able to support your hormones and to release, fire up your metabolism and to release the weight naturally. And so that's why a lot of times, especially with calorie counters and weight loss, or Weight Watchers clients, they hit plateaus really, really easy and really quickly because, like I said before, again, they're not eating the right food combinations to support their metabolism and their fat loss hormones. And so I think that that's the thing. It's not sustainable in the sense that you're also not going to be willing to count calories for the rest of your life, because let's be honest, nobody wants to do that. That alone just sounds exhausting. And especially if you're a busy mom, you're just not going to have the bloody time to do it. I don't know, very few moms actually want to, have time to make lunch for their kids and stand there and calculate their whole lunch, or like I don't really know how they do it, especially if you're on the go. And as things are starting to open up now, you want to be able to go to your girlfriend's place for dinner, go to your friend's barbecue down the street, and be able to eat confidently without having to sit there and calculate everything on your phone and make sure that you're not going over. And so I think, again, that's one of the challenges with calorie counting. In addition to that, 9 times out of 10, a lot of these calorie counting platforms, like I said before, start you off at extremely low calories, like sub 1,200 calorie, targets for women who are should be eating well beyond that, up into the 2000 calorie ranges. And so I think by doing that, you're actually having the reverse effect on your diet, which is you're slowing down your metabolism even more, which is the last thing that you want. So again, not only is it not sustainable, not only are you don't have the knowledge as to how to fuel your body properly and support your fat loss hormones, but you're tricked into thinking that you should be eating this low caloric value when you shouldn't be. You should actually be eating much higher than that to not only lose weight, but to fire up your metabolism so that you don't hit those plateaus. Now, the last one, I mean, we can talk about this one, although I don't even know if it deserves a place in this, is shake diets. So I'm talking about the Arbonnes, the Isogenics, all of these shake diets that are out there. Realistically, guys, I mean, it's kind of in vain with all of those supplements that you can take, like the fat burning pills and everything. It's just almost magic dust that you're trying to sprinkle on a problem. It's really not going to solve it because, you know, first off, the shakes aren't even that nutritional. I hate to break it to you. So many studies have been shown. I mean, which is why I think in isogenics, they actually give you pills to help support your digestive system because so many people get backed up when they drink them. It's not necessarily a great sign. But I think that that's the thing. In addition to that, again, they're going to put you in a super low caloric deficit. So you're not firing up your metabolism and you're not, supporting your fat loss hormones. And in addition to that, I think it's really funny because when you sign on to these programs, you're working with, let's be honest, your sister-in-law who turned you onto it, or your neighbor down the street. These people have absolutely no nutritional background. So if you get stuck, or if you have any questions, or if you hit a plateau, you're left scrambling with what to do because you don't actually have the support that you need. And so, I mean, ultimately, when you get off of it, again, the weight's just going to come back on because, first of all, nobody really wants to drink those shakes for the rest of your life. Let's be honest, they're really gross. And so, secondly, the moment you come off, because you've been eating such little amounts of food, the weight's just going to come back on even faster because your body is literally starving for it. It is craving it. And so it's just going to hold on to everything possible it can to get the nutrients that it needs. And so the last one that comes up, which, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a complete hater of, is intermittent fasting. And I know that a lot of you guys talk about this one. It's had its moment for a long time, and I feel like it's having another moment again because there are so many women who think in theory they're like, okay, this is easy. I just have to skip breakfast and then I can just eat my lunch and then eat well into the evening and everything will be okay. There is a merit to fasting for sure, absolutely. But as I've said before, you can get the exact same results from fasting 12 hours that you can get from fasting 16. 16 is optimal, but you don't have to, again, this is something that should be realistic for you. So you don't have to handcuff yourself to this sort of 16-hour thing because ultimately, if you're still fasting 12 hours, you're doing just as many amazing things for your body as you would be if you were fasting for 16. The other thing that not a lot of people talk about with intermittent fasting is that this whole eating lunch and eating dinner well into the evening, or giving yourself the ability to eat well into the evening, is actually causing your body to hold onto weight. Because if we think about your circadian rhythm, now your circadian rhythm is tied to the daylight outside, and basically it's the natural function of your body and how the sort of the prime times as to which it's going to operate. What are the best, when does it start to when does your metabolism kick off in the morning? When does your body start to go into fasting in the evening? What are the best times to work out? Like, when are your cortisol levels its highest and lowest? These are your circadian rhythm is just basically the natural cycle of which your body sort of aligns itself every single day. And it's actually driven by the sun and the light outside. So basically, what that means is that the moment that the sun comes up, that's when your metabolism starts to fire. If you think about the caveman days, this makes so much sense because, they didn't have alarm clocks and everything. So they were literally driven by sunlight and daylight. And so as soon as the sun came up, they knew that they had to get up, they had to start working, they had to run from saber-toothed tigers or whatever it was they had planned that day. But ultimately, the same goes for us today in present day. So the moment the sun comes up, your metabolism starts firing. So that's when you actually want to be able to give your body the food that it needs because it's looking for it. It's like, okay, we're up, the sun's up, like, where's the food? Let's get going. I need fuel to start the day. If you're prolonging that and stalling it, basically what happens is in the evening, when the sun goes down, that's when your body starts to store fat because it's going into a fasting state. It's getting ready to sleep and rest and restore itself. And if you're continuing to eat late into those hours, everything that you're eating is going to be stored and it's not going to be used as fuel. So, realistically, this whole intermittent fasting thing, I don't really know. It's probably a man that started it, I guarantee you. Because again, their hormones are a lot more stable. So they see a lot more success than women do. Unfortunately, ladies, I'm really sorry to say our battles are a little bit harder. However, it doesn't have to be that hard. So, if you are going to intermittent fast, what I would say is make the hours that you're eating between the sun going up and the sun going down. I mean, in the summer, this is later. In the winter, it's shorter. But ideally, what I like to say to most of my clients is from a 12-hour perspective, keep your eating window between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And if you want to really hit the 8-16, you can do 9 in the morning until 5 at night, or 10 in the morning until 6 at night. And you'll get those great results. And again, you won't be eating late into the evening and causing your body to store all of that food as fat. And you'll be working within your circadian rhythm, so you'll be supporting it when your metabolism's firing and getting ready to fast and, put your body into a resting state as you're going to sleep, because that is ultimately what we want. So I am a proponent for intermittent fasting. There's just a better way to do it. And as long, I think ultimately, which is essentially the sum of all of these diets, ultimately what's going to make you successful, guys, is what works for you. If you are trying to fit yourself into a diet, this isn't going to be something that's sustainable. You really, really need to find something that's actually going to work with you and not against you. So if you know that you're never going to give up birthday cake because you're baking them for your kids and damn right you're going to have a slice, keto and paleo, not your bag. If you know that you don't want to be handcuffed to a phone, counting out points and stressing about calories, Weight Watchers and calorie counting and macro dieting, not necessarily for you. Like if you can't fathom the idea of slugging down another shake for the rest of your life, definitely don't join Arbonne and Isogenics. Like, it's just common sense. And same sort of thing with intermittent fasting. If the hours of your day just don't work, if your family, if the kids are up at 6 and they want to eat breakfast and you want to eat with them and, it just doesn't work out, don't put the pressure on yourself to stick to this 8-16 window if it's not going to work for your lifestyle. Because I can tell you right now, the number one thing that is the biggest predictor of success for weight loss is consistency. So you need to find something that you can consistently maintain for long periods of time, essentially the rest of your life, which doesn't mean that you have to discount all of the good foods. It doesn't mean that you have to give up the chocolate and the wine and the pasta. All it means is that you need to find something that's going to work with you for your weight loss and then show you how to be able to maintain it for the rest of your life. Because that's the tricky thing about the diet industry now, is that everybody is an expert. We've all earned our black belts in dieting. We all know how to diet, and we fail at them. What we don't know how to do is actually eat for real life. Nobody is out there teaching you how to do that. And I think that this is why so many women are failing diets, but not because they don't have the ability to maintain them. It's because none of these diets are actually maintainable. And so I think that the closer you can come to finding something that's like, hey, if I can have wine and chocolate and do this, I'll be good. If I don't have to cook every single night and I can order out whenever I want, that'll help. Like, if I don't have to be handcuffed to the kitchen following restrictive recipes and sticking to meal plans, that'll work for me. If you can find something that's going to get you there and that's going to actually work with you, that's what you need to do. Diving into all of these restrictive ones that just don't make sense long term is just going to set you right back from where you started from. Maybe, 5 or 10 pounds heavier, which is 2 steps back, essentially. Anyways, guys, I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions about any other diets that I've missed, please feel free to comment below this video. I'd be more than happy to dive into them further or answer any questions that you have. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. It is sunny and beautiful here in Toronto, so I can't wait to get outside, and I will see you all soon.